Hello guys and welcome to the, I'm saying a quick Sunday afternoon video. I'm going to have to see how long this can go because I've got my daughter with us. We've just had a day out in Newcastle, getting the metro from near Newcastle Airport. And as you can see, judging by the background, yes, Newcastle Airport really is in the middle, practically, of the Northumberland countryside, not Newcastle city centre. A lot of people don't realise that, so it's the next stop after the Newcastle Airport, Callerton Park or something. Park there, free to park on a Sunday, and then it's £5 for the unlimited travel around Newcastle, so it's ideal. 2 moments, because I just need it sorted because she's climbing in the car. Yeah, I just had to correct her there because she was standing up on the seats. Anyways, clearly this is not about an airport, this is not about a family day out, it's about a new car that massively I picked up unexpectedly. As you'll all know, I don't know if you've up to date or not, but clearly the Astra sold as... I didn't really sell, I was asked to sell it back to the buyer because their Astra, the electronic handbrake, the handbrake cables on the electronic motor snap and the car rolled down a hill that they live on and collided into the solid stone wall, wrote it off, and they just wanted a car back that they know is similar and they know that's been in the family. So that went unexpectedly. Didn't want to sell that car because I had put quite a bit of money into it. Didn't really make a great deal anyways on it, if anything. Just wanted to do a good deed. In the Saab, that went. So I was left with nothing, basically. Yes, I know nothing, a lot of people, my version of nothing. My ZX is nicely parked in a garage. And like I keep mentioning to people, if I leave the car out of that garage for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, things keep getting put in the garage. I've been given the garage as a goodwill gesture by a very good customer. But if I keep leaving the garage unattended, things pile up, and then eventually it'll come to the point where the lady just goes, "Oh, my son's put this, my daughter's put that, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, you can't have the garage anymore. I haven't paid for it, it's free gratis." So as long as I keep a car in there, it's like kind of, keeping my right to the place, basically. If I leave it unattended, things get put in and I could potentially lose it. Plus, I don't really want to be putting loads of miles on the ZX and using it as a daily. And the ML, what I towed the caravan with, as you know, it's nearly a 4 litre petrol. It's not really an ideal daily. It is nice to use it. But anyways, regardless of that, end of September, I think for the beginning of October, both those 2 cars go off the road. So technically, didn't have a daily diesel. So anyways, sorry to blab on here, but I believe behind any car or anything, there's always the story. The story is just as important as the vehicle itself. So this car's been on my channel before when the customer had it in, and I don't know what made us do this. Basically, I had a car in last week and my dad just said, "Can you take the car back to Bedlington?" I said, "No problem." He had to go and do an MOT, so I jumped in the car and I got to the junction, just literally pulled out of our garage onto the main road, and I seen an old fella walking along. Gus, you call him. Good bloke. He bought a car off Joe, who used to help her years ago, and he brings these cars to her. And he was just walking along. I don't know what made us do it, because I really should have just turned out the junction and turned left and went to Bedlington. But I seen him, I turned left and then directly right into his little estate, where he lives, directly opposite our garage. And I just opened the window and made a joking comment of, "Are you going to sell us that car yet?" This car. And he turned around and he went, "Have I told you?" I was like, "What do you mean told?" I said, "I'm only joking." "No," he says, "I've got a new car here." He said, "I was going to come and see you next week to see if you want to buy a car." Well, I had the money, desperate to buy a car this weekend, and I already had my eyes on a few of them that while I had time while I'm off, I was going to view and potentially buy anything, by the way, guys. I was willing to pick up anything to get us on the road. And when he said this, I was like, what? How has this even happened? Anyways, I had to quickly take this I had to quickly take this car to Bedlington. I said, "I'll be back in half an hour." I says, "Give us a spare key," which he gives us. I said, "Come back, give it a quick drive, and I'll come back to you." Anyways, I only took it up the road to get some money from home, because I knew I wanted it. If he was going to sell it, I wanted it like that, because I already said I wanted it. So anyways, what is it? Have a guess. Very rare. Very, very rare. In many ways. So anyways, less of the blab. We may as well swing it round to see what I've got. Before you all look at it and go, "Oh, that's nothing special," let us get into it and tell you why. If you've seen me Facebook page, you'll know why. So anyways, excuse me daughter sitting in the front seat. There will be some slight interruptions. Plus we've got an audience of some sheep. So anyways, what is it? Yeah, it's an E11 Corolla. But that isn't just kind of it with this car. It's the SR, as you can tell by the kind of body kit that's on it. the TTE body kit, and obviously the lower bumpers. It's not just your average one, but there's far more to it than that. And we'll go around to the back and it explains itself. Ignore the black wheel. That's one job it does need. This brake is getting really hot. I shouldn't really be using it, but I've got nothing else. I've got a caliper on order, common as muck with these. That'll be here Tuesday. That'll be done. It hasn't warped the disc and it hasn't burnt the pads out because I'm just taking me time, but that is the only job that does need done, I will say. But anyways, we'll go out to the back. As you can see, it's got the bigger bumpers with the TTE body kit on from factory, I will say. So we'll get round the back, and again, you'll be saying, that's nothing. Not that special, Dan. Seen a few, apart from it's a very, very, very last one on a 56. I think they did a few on an 07, but not many. But yeah, we'll get into why as we'll get around to this side. And you'll see, yeah, it's an SR. Seen a few SRs. Yeah, of course we have. Nah, it's a D-4D. Handful of 1400 diesels are these ones made. This is the 2-litre diesel. The 1CD, the absolute bulletproof 2-litre 1CD D4D. Just in case a few of you don't know that, that's the ones that are in all the Avensis of this age. They're the ones that you've seen with 500, 700 and 1,000,000 miles on the clock. One of the best, if not probably the best overall diesel engine ever made. Yes, there's some high-powered BMW ones, all this, that and the other, but these ones and some of these Avensis taxis, these 1CD engines are bulletproof, absolutely bulletproof. Change the time belts on them, obviously don't abuse them, you'll get 1,000,000 mile out of them. Absolutely brilliant. In the Avensis, they're just a general, everyday, run-of-the-mill diesel engine. Nothing greatly to shout about other than uber reliable. None of this PD stuff where they're like torque and God knows what. Yeah, they've got a bit of power, but they're nothing to shout about in an Avensis. But in a little lightweight Corolla, a 2-litre turbo diesel is good. As you know, they do the fire breathing. It's not in the SR spec though, it's the T-Sport, the 1.8 VVTL-i, which is Toyota's version of a VTEC. Basically, it's a VVTi 190, it's a 190 brake, where they switch the cams when you're in the rev up to something crazy like 9,000 revs. Don't get us wrong, when you get to 9,000 revs, well, 7, 8 and 9,000 revs, yes, you get the full 190 brake horsepower and the feel quick. But when you're only revving at normal revs to drive in everyday situations, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5,000 revs, they're not. Don't take offence to this because they're a cracking engine, but I've had plenty. I've had a Celica with this engine in. Same with the VTECs. When you're driving them on normal roads at normal speeds, from 20 up to 40, 40 up to 70, all that kind of stuff, they're no more powerful than a 1600 petrol, if that. 2-litre diesel. It's only registered as 115 brake horsepower, but a 2-litre diesel, the torque in such a lightweight little car, they really do fly. That's the only thing I was going to consider doing, is getting a remap. They go from about 115 brake up to 140, and you might be thinking, oh, that's nothing, Dan. No, it isn't. It isn't anything massively interesting, nothing breakneck speed, but in a little tiny lightweight Corolla, a 2-litre diesel engine with loads of torque, I don't know the torque figures, but with 140 brake, to be honest, even the standard with 115 brake, that is the higher power one, by the way. Standard is 90, and then they do the 115, which is this one. I think this is the FHV, the 1CD FHV, and the other one's the FTV, the 90 or 100 brake one. So yeah, it's the only thing I'm thinking about going along the lines of non-standard on this. I think a bit of a refresh and an update map on it will probably improve it. So anyways, back to the car. But as you can see here, it's the TTE body kit spoiler, and as you can see there as well, genuine Toyota, not no Mickey Mouse rubbish. So yeah, I do love these. I really do love those backlights on them. Few upgrades I'm going to do. I'm going to stick my LED indicator bulbs in them because they aren't really that bright. I'll just stick the hazards on. I'll just show you in case Olivia decides to turn them off. Yeah, you can see them, but they're just, I don't know, they're just a little bit bland. It's my OCD. One thing I like to be seen is my indicators, and the ones I've got are cracking, and these are nice and easy to change just simply in from the car. So that's about the only thing really, as in upgrading, I'm going to do. As well as, again, you may not like it, but I've got a set of LED 501s and some Osram night breaker normal kind of dip beam H7s. The only real thing is the headlights are getting a little bit of a film on them. This one's the worst, but that is easily going to come off with a bit of the sandpaper and then a bit of Dux back on it. I'm not going to go mad, but really, brake caliper, tidy the lights up, upgraded bulbs, possibly a remap, and I've got a full service kit coming from Toyota. I've got a genuine Toyota service kit, which means oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, pollen filter in genuine Toyota parts, and the oil as well. I had to do that. It doesn't really need it, because I'm going to get to that bit in a minute. It hasn't done the miles, so we're going to get to that in a minute. It doesn't need it, because it's only done 2,000 miles since its last oil change, but I'm not quite sure when the last fuel filter was done, or air filter, and I want all the genuine bits put into it anyway, so we'll be doing that. And also a full chute of wax oil underneath. I have done bits as and when I've serviced it. But what are the important bits of this car? Obviously it's a diesel. Like I've said, these things can do almost 1 million miles. So you'll be thinking, yeah, it's done 80, 90, 100,000, 120, not even run in 120,000, 150,000 maybe. Get a look at these arches for a Toyota. Not a bit of rust. So, what do you think the mileage is on this car? I've got my little driver in here. Say hello. She said hello. I didn't think she would. We'll have a look at this. Might not be very clear on the phone. I don't know if you're reading that correctly, because the reflection. 38,000 miles. Yes, 38. Not 138. She wants to see the sheep. Go and see the sheep. Go and say hello to them at the fence. So yeah, that was right. Has not been clocked. 38,000 mile. I believe that was only a handful of the SR 2-litre D-4Ds made to start with. So the SR with the diesel, in fact just in general, this shape of Corolla with the E11 with the 2-litre, was quite a few 1.4 D-4Ds, but hardly any had the 2-litre. But with it being the SR, even more rare again. A very late one at the very end of on a 56, but with 38,000 mile. I don't even know if there's any 1CD engines, never mind in the Corolla or the Avensis Verso or whatever else this engine was in, which was all across the Toyota range of the Sierra. 38,000 mile. That's full dealer history from Toyota at Gateshead at Metro Centre from new. Apart from Gus, who I bought it off, one owner car. Old fella owned it, garaged from new. So, back to the beginning of the story, when I just randomly said hello to Gus and he says yes, it's for sale, I immediately had a test drive, not to check the car, to get home, to get some money to make me an offer, because I didn't have a car anyway, so I was super desperate. But when this thing come up, I just had to have it. So, perfect for what I need. The only thing it lacks is cruise control. Well, hell, for what it's got on it, I ain't gonna complain. And I'll tell you what, with this, to say it's just a little car, like Astra sized, the boot, I could not fit this pram in the Astra I've just gotten rid of, the Astra J, without it having to be rammed up into the roofline. It fits in here, no bother. The boot is absolutely massive for what it is. I'll attempt to show you, but it's got a full, brand new SR alloy down there. Let's see if I can lift it. You can probably just see it. Brand spanking new, never been on the road, SR alloy. When we're on the subject of alloys and wheels, when the guy pulled up and I asked him, like all the rest of it, he had just been and getting a brand new tyre on it, because the one at this side, obviously this one was worse, it's got some nasty cracks in it, so that's going to be on the list as well. Unfortunately, when he went to the tyre shop, he decided to get some rubbish on it, an I don't even know, harmonic or something like that. So it's put me in a bit of a position now. That I'm going to have to match a budget tyre, because it's just my OCD, but when you look like that, if you haven't got matching treads, it just looks pants. So I'm not going to chuck a brand new tyre in the bin, guys. So what I might have to do is just bite the bullet. That one needs done. Try and get a matching one. The front ones are Hancooks anyway, so they're all good. I think the Hancooks on the front, and they're alright actually, so they'll be getting left. So that does need done, so I'm going to have to try and get a matching one. I would have liked to have gotten two like Generals or something like that, like a good mid-quality one, but beggars can't be choosers. So anyways, brand, all it really needs, that front caliper, tyre at the back, going to do a service. Aircon works bang on, but next time I get the chance, going to get it serviced, because like I've explained on my previous videos, it's not just the aircon gas, there's what you call PAG oil in it, which lubricates all the seals, lubricates the pumps and everything. So it's not just a case of putting new gas in, it's a case of putting the oil in, because the oil dries up and evaporates, and it makes the system run dry, which burns your compressor out, makes the seals perish, makes it leak, and then it won't work. So I want that done. So we'll have a quick look inside. There is child seats and stuff, so bear with us. But I'm having there, and it is like brand new. Absolutely brand new. The carpet's a shame they're missing out the back. But yeah, what do you think, Olivia? I've checked all the VIN chassis plates. Toyotas have them on every door, so you know when a car's been involved in a bump. On every panel, every door, the bumper, the boot, you name it. So you know when a Toyota has been bumped. It's on every single one of them. Bonnets, doors, body panels, like the front here, down there on that door, and there might be one somewhere on there, but it's already had the one on the body at the back. So you know one of these things have been in a bump. I hate that. That's the only thing I hate, the beeping carry on. But anyways, 4 electric windows, remote central locking, 2 keys, genuine Corolla mat, as you can see, that's 30,000 mile right there. Electric heated mirrors, full climate control system. I'll switch the ignition on so you can see with the 9 beeping. So I've got the clock, 47 mile to gallon. That guy's been driving this car round the doors, never more than 2 miles for more than a year, and it still gets 44 to the gallon. And I've been driving it with a really badly binding brake. Yeah, no, terrible mechanic, but I can't do no other, really. I need to, the day I had to use this car. So, CD player, sound system, a typical Toyota, nothing fantastic, but it all works. Climate control system, which is fantastic, and like I said, the aircon works. An outside temperature display, which is nice to have it in there. Sometimes they have the time and stuff up on those. Front fog lights, all the usual stuff. The only thing it's missing is cruise control. 5-speed box, perfect, and these are quite a nice ratio, but just a general nice typical Toyota of the era. But like I've said, 38,000. I was messing around with the illumination on here, but I've actually done 70 miles since I filled up, and if you have a look at that gauge, it hasn't even moved from the stop at the top. Hasn't even moved, and that's 60 miles with a binding brake caliper. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been giving it a little bit of the powder because it's never had a proper drive for a while. So yeah, so I mean, get a look at those pedals down there on for wear. That's definitely 38,000 mile. We'll have a look underneath, but yeah, just generally a nice place to be. Loads of little cubbies. We'll open the bonnet. So yeah, here we go. There's the business end. Nice big 2-litre turbo diesel 1CD engine in here. The timing belt was just done last year as well, so happy days on that. Actually, ABS, all the aircon systems working as it should be. All I'm going to do down there, hidden down there, it's a fuel filter, air filter, oil and filter, pollen filter behind the glove box. A little bit of a tidy up, spruce up under here, which doesn't need a great deal done. But what I'm going to do is start it up. Not sure how this will sound on camera, but I can assure you it's one of the most nicest little 2-litre diesel engines. I always said this even on the Avensis. That's cold, by the way. I've only driven a mile up the road. Lovely, smooth, powerful, torquey diesel engine. And one person made a good remark on I've put it on a few forums, and they turned around and they says, if we're having an apocalypse, the only things that'll be left is cockroaches and a diesel Corolla. And do you know what it is? Things working, things alive. Do you know what it is? That sums it up kind of well. It really does. If we did have an apocalypse, it would be cockroaches. I wouldn't so much just say Corollas, diesel Toyotas of this era. The 1AD and the 2AD that followed, them engines were absolute pap. So yeah, they really will be them things. They will run and run and run forever. But with 38,000 mile in on, the big saying of this thing isn't even running, I really mean it isn't even running. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Just going to switch it off. But with these engines, like I've said, no DPF, basic EGR, still common rail, modern enough, but all the electronics on the lights, the locks, nothing's run by a body control module. They're all exactly like wired in exact, so you can fit some LED bulbs and you won't get any kind of error lights coming up, because it's not all that canvas rubbish. So it's a nice basic but enough. Toyota got the game was perfect by Toyota. Toyota had it absolutely bang on at this period. Just enough tech that worked, tech that was reliable, and kept out the rubbish we didn't want, like electronic handbrakes, DPFs, all that nonsense we didn't want, swirl flaps, just the awful stuff which I still to this day think is a waste of time, stop start, all that. So yeah, perfect little car. Let us know what you think. We'll just have a little bit walk round of it. I think it does genuinely look the part. Exactly the right size I want. I would have liked something maybe a little bit bigger, but I can survive. 5-door, big enough boot to put the pram in. Debating putting the dogs in, it's a little bit too nice for that. So yeah, I have to thank Gus for giving me the chance. He did promise his first chance of it, and I'm really pleased I managed to take it. So yeah, we'll thank my little helper today. Do you want to say thank you, Olivia? Want to say hello? Say thank you for watching. Say thank you for watching. Can you say? Well done. She's got a flower, and what other bit of the audience here? A random field full of sheep. They were just right at the gate before she was feeding them, so yeah. Tried to find the places to film, but happy days, we've got somewhere. So yeah, we'll leave it there, guys. Let us know what you think. If you don't like it, just say. If you do like it, say. It's what the comments are there for. Please leave a comment. Anything you think I should do to it, anything you've mentioned like the remap and whatnot you think I shouldn't do, let us know. Just happy to understand what anybody feels. If you think things, if you've spotted anything you think I should do, in case you have spotted the odd little chip on the colour code of things, I am getting a touch-up pen just to touch those little bits in. And like I've said, for anybody, I did do a ceramic rapid clean on this, but clearly, yes, I do know that wheel needs cleaned, but until I do the caliper, it's pointless. So that'll be coming next week. But yeah, I did use this stuff, which is fantastic, I will say. It's the Auto Glim Rapid Ceramic Spray. I'm not joking you. 15 minutes with a cloth, rub on, rub off. In this car now, if it rained, the water would just bead off it. And to be quite honest, Gus wasn't into cleaning it. It probably hadn't been washed for a year, in fairness. So yeah, so we'll leave it there. So we'll just leave it there. Thank you for watching. Like I've mentioned, I do all this to get you a bit of content. I've already had a load of people wanting to buy this office, and I genuinely haven't even put it for sale. I'm only saying I've just bought it. So yeah, leave a comment, please. If there's anything you want to say, please hit the like. It does help. And if you haven't already done so, I don't even know why you'd be watching this. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, it's free of charge, and it really does help the channel. And like I mentioned, the link below, if you do want to do the buy me a coffee or super thanks, all of it really does help. Like I've mentioned, I don't get paid a great deal for this. I put a lot of time and effort in. I could have been home by now with a little one after a day out, but I stopped back and I do a film to let you guys know what I'm up to, what I've bought, what I'm, all the rest of it, and I bring you into my life of running a garage, my cars I have, and my family as well. I know a lot of people don't put their kids on and their family on, but the way I look at it is, a lot of people get all uptight about not having their kids and family on the internet. We've just been to Newcastle today on the metro. Millions of people around you. I just don't really get the difference between being out in public. Same with people covering up registrations. Never get it. Cover up the registration for an advert, but yet you'll drive your car around thousands of other people in plain view. Doesn't make sense. But anyways, I hope it's appreciated. But the odd few little donations do help towards doing projects, buying new cars, all the rest of it. It all helps us massively, and I do appreciate every single one of you, even just for the likes, the comments, the support you give us. Like I've said, head across the Facebook page, Car at a Garage Northeast. There's a lot of content on there. Again, I don't get paid a penny for that. It's all just a bit of banter, and to be quite honest, I've met some cracking people. A lot of people have met us at the festival in Exceptional this year. Really have enjoyed speaking to every single one of you. So I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers, guys.